Get ready because today we're tearing down the digital wallpaper of our daily lives. Welcome to the video. Look, we aren't just talking about your favorite apps or some innocent screen time habits here. We're looking directly at a massive cognitive extraction grid. It's an invisible architecture built to harvest human focus on an absolute industrial scale. Seriously, this isn't science fiction. It's literally the most lucrative business model on the planet right now, and you're the raw material. Picture this. Every single morning, all across the country, millions of people wake up and perform the exact same, completely involuntary ritual. I mean, before they even look out the window at the horizon, before they speak a single word to their own families, what do? They reach for a glowing glass screen. They scroll, they swipe, they consume. It happens in an instant. It's basically a reflex, a totally automatic response, hardwired right into the start of the day for millions of us. Now, we're constantly told that this is just a harmless personal choice, right? It's pitched as this comforting little byproduct of the modern digital age. Just a simple tool to stay connected. But inside the high-end boardrooms of Silicon Valley, that choice was calculated years ago. Your attention span is no longer your personal property. It's a highly liquid, actively traded commodity. Your focus is being engineered, captured, and sold off to the highest bidder in real time. Okay, let's jump straight into part one, the dopamine engine. To really trace the psychological enclosure, we've got to look at the algorithmic feedback loops designed by top behavioral scientists. And their objective? It was never just to connect people. No. The objective was, and absolutely still is, total cognitive dependency. Listen to this quote right here. The infinite scroll is not a design feature, it is a psychological cage. You really have to let that sink in. It's punchy because it is brutally true. The platform's ultimate goal isn't to foster human connection or make your day any easier. It's to build a seamless digital environment that you just can't easily leave. It's a cage with invisible bars built entirely out of perfectly timed content. And big tech didn't just pull these hooks out of thin air, okay? They expertly mapped our human vulnerabilities. They use what are called variable reward schedules. If that sounds a bit familiar, well, that's because it's the exact same mathematical principle used in Vegas slot machines to trigger severe behavioral dependency. They took the mechanics of gambling, put it right in our pockets, and turned an entire population into algorithmic miners. Let's actually break down exactly what happens in your brain when you interact with this. Step 1, you pull down to refresh your feed. Step 2, the system executes this calculated microsecond pause. And trust me, that gap isn't a loading error, it's highly intentional. Step 3, in that tiny little gap, your neurological tension spikes. Is it going to be a notification, outrage, validation? And then step 4, boom, the data loads and your brain gets a localized dopamine hit. It's rapid, it's incredibly precise, and it literally rewires your habits with every single swipe. Moving right along to part 2, the addiction ledger. Because all of this neurological mapping, it's not just some abstract science experiment. It translates directly into a brutal economic reality. This is the exact financial ledger that drives the world's most powerful tech monopolies. So the crucial point here is a one-to-one equation. Advertising revenue equals time on device. It's that simple. The longer an algorithm can physically hold your eyes to the glass, the more data points it extracts from you. And the more data it extracts, the higher the company's valuation skyrockets on Wall Street. Your prolonged screen time directly correlates to their financial supremacy. Now, what's really fascinating and kind of terrifying about this is how the fullness of human emotion is just reduced to a cold ledger. The algorithm figured out super fast that human biology responds quickest to fear, division, and tribal outrage. So on one hand, you have our raw biological vulnerabilities. On the other, the algorithmic outcome, insanely high engagement, massive time on device, and huge financial dividends. The system is programmatically optimizing for your psychological instability simply because it pays better. And what this creates is a totally perverse incentive structure. Things like peace, nuance, or, critical thinking. The system treats those as structural inefficiencies. Why? Because they don't keep you scrolling. Instead, the algorithm systematically isolates users into custom-tailored echo chambers. It feeds you content explicitly designed to fracture objective reality. And in doing so, it converts the very social fabric of our society into massive financial dividends for a highly centralized digital cartel. Which brings us to part 3, the cognitive enclosure. This is the ultimate phase of the attention harvest, because we're no longer just talking about keeping your eyes on a screen to sell you shoes. it evolves into something way more sophisticated: predictive behavior modification. This is, honestly, nothing short of the colonization of the human mind. Once a system has harvested enough data on your specific attention patterns, a fundamental shift takes place. It actually stops reacting to your desires, and it begins to dictate them. The algorithm becomes so incredibly fine-tuned that it knows what you're going to think, what you're going to buy, or even who you're going to vote for before the thought even fully forms in your own head. Here's how that enclosure works in practice. You basically have a centralized software layer sitting directly between the citizen and objective reality. It has total, absolute control over the flow of information. It gets to decide what's visible to the public by amplifying certain narratives, and just as easily, it can erase information completely from public memory. It is total control over human perception, managed flawlessly by code. And this brings us to a really chilling reality. We all like to believe we're making independent choices, right? We think we're actively choosing what video to watch, what article to read, what daily outrage to engage with. But that independent choice, it's an illusion. It's simply the execution of a pre-programmed command path maintained by this cognitive cartel. It's like you're walking down a hallway that was being built around you while you weren't even looking. Let's move into our final section, the silent invasion. Because understanding the sheer scale of this cognitive enclosure forces a massive shift in how we have to view modern sovereignty, warfare, and national defense. Think about it. In the past, we defended ourselves with physical walls, strict borders, and standing armies. We worried about the physical colonization of land and tangible resources. But the new frontier of warfare? It doesn't require armies marching across a line on a map. It simply requires access to your digital interface. The attention harvest has completely bypassed every single physical defense we have, quietly slipping into the homes and minds of an entire civilization, totally undetected. Make no mistake, this massive technological machine is actively harvesting you right now, literally every single second of the day. The loops are active, the rewards are perfectly calibrated, and that slot machine is continuously spinning in millions of pockets across the globe. This extraction grid never sleeps. It never hits pause, and it absolutely never stops mining your focus for profit. So as we wrap up this video, I want you to really think about the ledger we just opened up. Think about the loops, the algorithms, and the massive multi-billion-dollar valuations built entirely on top of your focus. And I'm going to leave you with this final, crucial question. Are you the user, or are you the harvest?